Ajay sir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Please start the session, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, good evening, everyone. I am Neha Jain, serving as the program coordinator for the International Faculty Development Program and the training program on innovative teaching and learning pedagogy. Today, our attention is directed towards delving into the understanding role play methodology for innovative teaching. A session is skillfully led by our distinguished speaker, Dr. Deepak Agrawal sir. We extend a heartfelt welcome to you, sir, and it is truly an honor to have him as an integral part of the program.
Thank
This
you, ma'am.
this initiative is collaboratively organized by World Innovators University, MKES Khandwala College, Research Foundation of India, in association with Paro University and Eklavya University. So, before moving on, I would like to acquaint all of you with Dr. Deepak Agrawal sir. He is an eminent academician and accomplished professional in the realm of finance. He embarked on his academic journey with a profound commitment to advancing knowledge. His illustrious career spanned 30 years, seamlessly integrating 7 years of corporate and 23 years of teaching experience. Notably, he holds a PhD in management, a culmination of rigorous research on IPO pricing, a study of listing volatility and efficient pricing mechanism. These groundbreaking work has not only contributed to the academic discourse but has practical implications for the financial industry. His academic prowess extends further, encompassing degrees like Masters in Commerce, a Masters in Business Administration, a postgraduate diploma in Financial Management from Chennai, and a postgraduate diploma in Human Resource Management from IGNOU. In addition to his extensive educational background, he has published an impressive portfolio of 29 research papers in prestigious national and international journals, including two in Scopus Journal. Furthermore, he has presented 16 papers in national and international conferences. As a director at Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Technology and Management, Indore, he has been a driving force behind innovative teaching methodologies. His initiatives include implementing activities-based learning programs, designing a comprehensive MBA program curriculum in finance, and a 360-degree feedback system to foster transparent communication among students and authorities. Before academia, he has been recognized for his exceptional contribution, receiving accolades such as the Best Student Award for Business Management and a Certificate of Excellence from Sri Agrasen Club. His dedication to academia was further honored by Mrs. Sumitra Mahajan, former Speaker Lok Sabha India, who felicitated him for extraordinary contributions in academics. He is also remains an active participant in the academic community, serving as an executive member of RFI Indore chapter and a member of the Circular Economy Club, Boston, USA. His commitment to continuous learning and development is evident through his engagement as a resource person for skill development at MSME and research methodology workshop at RFI India. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Deepak Agrawal, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, RFI, once again, Ajay sir, Saurabh sir, for inviting me. Uh, just please allow me a moment so that I can start with my PPT. Does my PPT viewable? Just please let me know.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Fine. So for the today's session, we will just go through uh, insights related to the role play methodology for the innovative teaching. So we do understand that gone are the days when the conventional mode of teaching was been there. Now it's a time for the adaptation of the innovative methods or the technology based learnings. Although some of this, the things what we are presently seeing is nothing very innovative, but it has been adopted by the Western world quite a long back. But some of the contents are been nowadays introduced, and especially when we talk about the NAP, they talk much more about the real life based learnings or practical based learnings. Under such situation, it becomes the sole responsibility of the faculties, the HEIs, along with the directors and the principals to adopt the methods. Even the NAC provides the requires the curriculum based learnings along with the innovative methodology and the pedagogy. So there are the various concepts through which you can go through the innovative way of learning, and amongst it the most popular one, and that is the SWOT analysis or the case based learning. Let me improve myself. That is the case based learning. Again, case based learning is not a very new concept. It was initially developed in the 60s in USA and later adopted in 80s in India. And when we talk about the especially the management programs for BBA, MBA, it is intensively utilized. When we talk about the sciences, medicals, the practical based approach is very most common. Similar to that, because you are having a separate session for the case based learning, so I'm not going to talk much upon it. Similar to that, there are the another modes of learnings, um, and that is the stimulation based learning. Now, what is the stimulation? It is simply a creation of the situation with the help of the technology, so that in case there you can avoid the actual losses. For example, for a pilot, if it has been allowed to just fly a, it has been asked to fly a plane in the very first sitting, see how difficult it would be. Definitely, there will be a crash, and it is not only the threat to the life along with the cost. It costs somewhere around 35 Arab rupees to 45 Arab rupees in Indian currency. When I talk about the stimulation based learning, I still remember that very first time when I went to a car driving school, and I didn't know how to even hold a steering. He just asked me, the very initiate level, he asked me to sit on the driver's chair, and he was asked me to just hold the steering and just accelerating and control with the gears. It was a very difficult condition for me because I doesn't know anything about the car, only the ABC. That's all, nothing all. Accelerator, brake and clutch. So it was not a stimulated based learning. It was the actual learning very first day. But yes, for the safety purpose, the instructor was having a control on the second side. And the limit of the speed of the car was initially was 10. Initial stages for 1 to 3 days, he did not increase the speed of the car by 20 kilometers per hour. Similarly, let us take an example that if you go with the Maruti training driving school, so in the initial phases, they used to put you on the simulator and there you learn about it. So there is no worry about it. Simulator is just like a video game. You can drive, you can learn, you can just accident yourself at many times because there is no harm to yourself and your body. To the same example, if the same thing would have happened to a pilot, and he has been asked to fly the plane, there is a huge financial and the loss of a life. So in the initial stages, the simulation has been provided. For many months of training has been provided, even to the pilot, to the astronauts and everywhere. And once they are trained with the simulation, then they are gradually shifted towards the practical or actual based learning. Similarly, when we talk about the simulation based learning, the role play is also the one of the situation, is a part of it. So what is the role play if we talk upon, and what is the role of the role play methodology in innovative teaching? These are the some of the portions we are going to discuss. in this session. So, with the words of Rachel and Shepard, the role play is a form of an experimental learning. Experimental learning indicates that you might have gone through that situation earlier in your life, or you might not have experienced it. So you can just imagine it, and accordingly you can act or react. Just focusing the same activity or the case-based learning for a students, and if the student has just entered into the graduation level, most of the things about the corporate world, they have never gone through it. So how they can perform? Only on the basis of the imaginations. And where the imaginations comes from, I say that most of the imagination for a young child comes from the movies or the cartoon characters what they have watched, and few little bit of experience which has gone through earlier in the real life situations. Another example, I always quote to the students, this very first time you are driving the two-wheeler or even a car, and somebody all of a sudden comes in front of you, and what will be your immediate action? Definitely, the learners, they will say that we will immediately apply the brake without thinking of any of the consequences, because it is the necessity to protect the person who has all of a sudden came in front of our vehicle. There may be a loss to the vehicle because the person or the vehicle coming from the backside may have a dash to our vehicle. It may collide. But to the certain extent, we can protect the person, we can protect to a certain extent ourselves. So how they came that the brake is to be applied, because since the childhood, whenever the young child starts cycling, or maybe three-way cycling, wheels based like cycling, uh, it has been asked that okay, when you are in the not in a control situation, simply apply the brake and then you can control your vehicle. So this is a type of a real-based learning which initiate maybe as a part of a simulation or may not be. So similarly, the role play also is a part of a simulation-based exercise which may comes from the real learnings or maybe from the factuals or some imaginations. The teacher is the method should appeal through their sense perception to understanding the student, and one of the method of the learning is the role play, just what I have discussed. So in education system, it act as to overcome the problems of human relations and analyze them with the help of the other players and observers. The fellow colleagues, basically who belongs to the law, they know it that there is always the conduction of a moot court, and in moot court there is a judge, there is an advocate, then there are the dummy criminal, maybe offensive, and all of the things is been there. What is that? That is a simulation, that is a role play. Each and every student is been assigned some role, and accordingly they used to act, and then it is held. Then they go with decision making, and this improves the decision power of the student, and that is the best example of role play in academics. Moving next to the purpose of role play, that is the first thing, that is to convey information to the mass audience or amongst the students. The second purpose is to develop specific skills. Just I have quoted an example that if you are learning driving, four-wheeler driving, you need to understand all of the functions, because they are the three elements to be controlled by two legs. There is a steering, there is a gear to be controlled by two hands, and many other functions are simultaneously to be maintained. So once you are being assigned the specific task, which may be on the rotation basis, you can better have an understanding about it. To the similar exercise, if you are in the course of banking sector, BFSI, so there will be in the form of role play, someone will be the banker, someone will be the belongs to the management, director, employees, then customers, and there is all role plays are being assigned to them, and they used to act accordingly. Then another thing, another example for role play is just like what we have conducted for the students, or the students have conducted for us, and that is the Nukkad Natak. What is a Nukkad Natak? It is simply a message which has been helpful towards the development of the society, towards the education of the society, is a part which is belongs to it, considered as a part of role play exercise. The another purpose of a role play is to develop a situation for analysis. I just said it is a situation. It may be a hypothetical situation, it may be a realistic situation. Just consider one real life example. Long back, I think in 2013, a situation occurs in Maruti Suzuki plant, and there was a strike. There was a problem related with the daily wagers. They were demanding for the regularity in their job because there was a huge difference between the wages amongst the daily wagers and the full-time employees. The situation got so much worse that the HR manager was burnt alive in that plant. Maruti Suzuki is still the number one company in car segment, and it's a major revenue generator to the government of India. 51% now is holding by the Suzuki, and 49 is now held by the Maruti. Earlier it was in the reverse ratio. So just we try to understand that such a big company which having a huge setup. So it is a situation to be understand that why this condition happened. What was the role of a HR manager? What was the authorities doing? What was the role and the responsibility of the directors, managing directors, and the committee of the people? And ultimately, why they could not control the situation, which went into the aggressiveness and the death of a HR. Now, it is a real life example, but just going through that, reading through that, a similar situation may be created for the students, amongst the students, and they can try to understand with their own learnings or whatever it is been trained by the academicians to them or the trainers. The another purpose of a role play is to develop understanding of points of view of others. There is one of the exercise we will go through, that a role play is an individual activity also, but it is always advisable in a group activity, as a group activity, and there every person is having their own wish, own vision, own thoughts, and it all can be combined together to come to a common output. I would like to quote a movie long back. I think it's the Ketan Mehta or someone, and the name of the movie is the Jaane Bhi Do Yaro. I hope many of you have seen it. If not, so you please just go through that movie. Briefing about it: a person was been murdered, and one another person was been found culprit, and he was been the person was been declared by the court for a hanging. That is the death, hanging till death. And in 12 hours, midnight, the various people, that is the literate learned people from the society, were asked to just go behind to talk upon it. And the main hero, whomsoever was been there, he was in the favor that this person was not a culprit, and rest all 11 members said no, 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 he is culprit and he should be hanged. Ultimately, lots of discussion goes on, lots of the points came into it. At the same time, many simulation based learnings, they have shown that this would have happened, so what has been there. And finally, the final outcome, that I think last man, only one person denied, and rest of the 11 people agreed that this person was not culprit in that case. And finally, that sentence was converted into imprisonment. Long back, I have watched that movie. So the same can be considered. A situation may be assigned to the student. Okay, this is the situation, and you just decide that what should be there. A group of people can combinedly work together, and let's see their decisions are equivalent to that person, that movie, or it is somewhat different. It's one of the best management movie, what I think so, must be shown to the students. Another purpose of role play is to increase insight into typical way of dealing with a problem. That is better understanding, better learnings, and to adopt your outcomes in the smoothing way, so that the complicated problems can be solved in the easy manner. Another purpose of role play is to provide an opportunity for social interaction amongst the members. Not necessarily required that amongst the peer group only this exercise must be conducted. It's better you involve the people or the group maybe from the various other parts or resources. Many of the time, being a teacher, we have be a part of the FDP or many of the training programs. They used to create the groups, particularly when we talk about the HR related activities. They used to create the groups, and in those groups, basically the group is not for the peer ones. The group is being created from the faculties, fraternities, from the various fraternities. So in HR, there is a activity, 4 levels activities is forming, storming, and so on. So in the initial stage, there is always a conflict between the groups. In the gradual phase, they try to develop the understandings amongst themselves. Then they used to start working together. There may be lots of disputes, but in the gradual phase, they are being sorted out. And at the end, in the last stage of HR activity, that overall they come with a conclusion. So this can be included as it is a social interaction amongst the members, and this can help in improvising the critical thinking, that is developing the problem solving, developing the problem solving skills, and creates ourselves for better understanding. The values of role playing. The individuals may develop new skills for dealing with problems in human relations. I already discussed. Role playing can be tailored to fit the specific need and situation of a particular group that is using it. So it is not like, although if you search the internet, you will find many of the websites providing you the role playing exercises, and you can adopt the content from those websites and you can implement, or you can even customize your work, and you can float this work amongst your students to develop the understanding related to it. Another value is the way of presenting human relations problem. The students can experiment with behavior. They can commit mistakes in that work, and that definitely it will help to learn themselves, try to adopt the new skills and develop the new skills. And many of the times, the very innovative concepts may come upon, which provides an opportunity for getting your work patented. One of the days where there was a limited learning
Agrawal
for
sir,
the students.
Agrawal sir,
Yeah, ma'am.
sorry to interrupt you, sir. Venkateshwar sir, please turn off your microphone. Venkateshwar sir, please turn off your microphone. Yes, sir, continue.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So, to the next part, just getting a brief about the role play. Let us move directly to the kinds or the types of role plays. There are many of the ways. I opted these 4 patterns. The first one is the fandom in the random order. Second is the original. Third is the group, and the fourth one is 1-to-1. So let us go little bit brief about it. RP stands for role play. Don't think other than that RP having a different meaning too. Fandom activity is basically based on the existing universe, which has been derived from a book or a movie. Just like few examples has been quoted, like a Harry Potter or the Avengers, and it can contain both canon and the original characters. So fandom is just something like imaginative. If you go through the Star Wars movie,
थैंक यू बोलो दीदी को उधर से चलो
someone audio is on, please put off.
जब
Okay.
चलो आओ
Almost all of us has watched the Harry Potter movie. or maybe the Star Wars, maybe the Avengers, and all of these things. So they are the initiate characters which has been developed on the basis of some imaginations. Now, just little bit moving ahead from the character, if we try to focus upon the technology which is imaginated by them, including Star Wars, I would like to add on that there used to be a ball, globe-like ball, which used to fly in the sky. It was having a rotor on the top of it, and that was a very, very imaginative because the movie is the series or the movie was developed in 1970s, 65, 70, 72. That was a period. The technology level was not like that. But after a long bit, in the 90s or maybe in 2000 decade, the same concept was being developed. There used to be a ball, there is a wing or a motor attached to it, and that ball can fly and it can carry a camera over it. And to the later part, the same thing is been now taken over by the drones. That was been imaginated 30, 40, 50 years back, and now a person can even fly with the help of a drone. They are having 8, 12 fans attached to it, motors attached to it, and the person can fly with a limited capacity. Just coming back to the characters, these characters can be originated, it can be imaginative. So when we talk about the AU, that is the alternate universe, nowadays, most of the time, all the people are that all the scientists, especially who are engaged in the universe, they are talking about the alternate universe. Nobody has ever seen, but it has been imaginated because Stephen Hawking in his book he talked upon it. So it is a subcategory of fandom, and usually it contains some changes such as reversed genders or the characteristics or all cats. That means that something innovative may be developed when you are talking about the role play activities. The second part of that fandom based activity, and that is the crossover. It is the combination of two or more fandoms. For example, Harry Potter and Hunger Games. So what you have done, you have just combined two different type of characters, and you indulge into a one, and you develop some innovative from it. So it may be something like from the movie The Mask, there is a character developed from it, and from the movie that is Mr. India, some character has been developed from it, adopted from it, and a new character has been created. So it is imaginative. This is the one of the type of role play exercise. Second is the original characteristic. Now, it can be related to any of the thing. It may be fantasy, it may be historical, if real life. So I still remember that schools plays the best role. The different roles are being assigned to the students, and they come in those get up and they act and react on that basis. Maybe Shivaji, maybe Gandhiji, or maybe Shastriji, because today is the Shastri death anniversary, sir. So such type of activities can be there. The third role play activity, and it can be a group activity. This is the most common activity which has been done. There, a group is being created, and the different roles are being assigned to the group members, and accordingly they used to prepare and they perform. This is the one of the most common. And the last activity, that is the one or on one. It means one role play is between two people. It is often written as 1 by 1, and it may contain 1 to 2 pairings. So these are the different types of role play activities. Moving to the next part. What are the steps involved in it? How we should proceed? What are the things we should try to develop amongst the students? These are the few parts we are going to discuss it now. Number one, that is the selection of a situation or a creation of a situation. There may be a situation. Just like many of the American movies we have watched, the task for all American movies to the actor that is, they are the heroes and their task is to save the universe, are still unable to understand why only the US actors are capable to protect the universe, and what about the rest of the countries? Aren't they sufficient enough? Although the Indian actors are so efficient, a single actor can make kill hundreds and thousands and maybe many of the thousands villains at a same time. Anyhow, so there is a development and the deployment of a situation. The same exercise is been very largely followed by the military, the military environment. The fictitious environment is being created so they can go through those situations and can they make the they can overcome such type of things. Now it is the activity that we need to explain the situations to the groups or the peoples who are involved in it. We need to define them, that what will be their roles and what is the physical setting, means how means they are going to perform and what are the tasks and other levels are to be assigned. So we need to explain the situation. It is just like writing a script. Second is cast roles. So what we are going to do, we will identify the individuals so that they can perform the roles which is well suited to them. May not be possible that each and every person can apply the efficient role to each and every category. So we need to cast the roles. One more example I would like to quote from a movie industry. One of the actor, I think is Mr. Rajkumar, if I'm not wrong. So whenever he has been asked to perform the role of a drunkard person, he was unable to perform. So finally, after many retakes, the director decided to provide a real liquor to that fellow, although he's not a drinker. And he just gone through, he consumed that liquor and then he performed perfectly to that role. But this is not a suitable to a real actor. The same problem here that exists with him in the another movie also. And finally, it was been decided such type of role should not be assigned because it's not comfortable. Although it is actor, an actor may be in a position to perform any of the role. That's why they are called as an actor. Now, prepare the role players. The complete detailing is been required, even just from their casting, their dressing, their tone, their style of talking. All things are to be defined and they need to be prepared. Prepare the observers who will take care about them. So this is the task of ourselves when we create, when we want to have a role play activity or exercise. This task either should be controlled by ourselves or we need to assign to the others who will take care of all of these things. Then setting of the scene. Once again, it may be imaginative, it may be a realistic scene that to be created. And then after doing all of this activity, run the role play. Just go through corrections, modify, cut the role, modify the role, and then final role play activity has been ready. So these are the few steps to be involved while the role playing activity. Now let us just go in little bit more or insight about it. The first step comes amongst it, that is the create your character. So what are the factors must be considered while creating the character? Number one, that is the physical appearance. Now, many of the things largely affects. Suppose if you want to play a character of a Charlie Chaplin, so your look, your dressing sense, your hairstyle, everything must be matched with the Charlie Chaplin. And it is nothing new to all of us that in one of the Charlie Chaplin, some activity was been performed, I think in USA. And there also Charlie Chaplin himself performed. So some another person was been awarded as the best Charlie Chaplin activity, the performer, rather than the original Charlie Chaplin who performed from it. This is the story, actual factuals, which you can go through the internet and you will find it. So the physical appearance must be look like it. If you have an imagination of just Maharana Pratap, so the personality must match to that person, because it is already in the mindset of each and every person that how Maharana Pratap's look like, how Gandhiji's looks like, how Shastriji looks like, how Nehruji looks like. So this is all should be there. So describe your characteristics here, eye, skin color, and whatever else is important to you. Very recently, I think that this week it has been already released or it is coming, just like Atal movie. It is based upon the Atal Bihari ji, and Pankaj Tripathi ji is the leading role, who plays the leading role in it, has performed. So everything should match with that imagination. Although various videos available, so we can correlate the personality of Atalji along with this actor who performed the role of Atalji. When we're talking, thinking about the role of late Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi, so we have always having an imagination that she was having a short hairs. The same must comes upon, and if not, so definitely it will not manage it. It will not match it. This will help other writers to visualize your character, and you can also use an image instead if it has been permitted by the director. So physical appearance is most important when you are deciding the role play. Secondly is the personality. The personality must match to the character which you are thinking upon. Just I what quoted about the Charlie Chaplin, or maybe any of the things. You should always think about the characters, their goals, their motives, and the desire. What actually they have been thought upon, accordingly it should be there. And if it is new, if it is innovative, you can have more freedom, so you can imagine it and put many of the things in that character. Next, that is the like and dislikes. What sort of things does your characters likes and dislikes? That must be known to you before performing. It could be as simple as a love for a chocolate and a fear of spiders. It could be a complex as having a hobby that is of painting and having a fear of being abandoned. Any character is having a fear of height. You want to overcome that fear by role play amongst others. So the character should be highlighted in such a manner so that the real fear amongst the audience, you should be capable to move out, and in the similar manner the character should be capable enough for it. Again, in the many of the movies you have gone through the stories that suppose take an example of legendary Dilip ji. So Dilip Kumar ji, Mughal Ajam and many of the movies, he was so much fault in the character that it took time to recover from that character, because it used to take a very long duration, 2 years, 3 years to complete a movie, and the indulging themselves in that character may be affecting their life. So they are definitely involved in it, and it must take time, and it should be necessary to come out from those characters. Skills and talents. Everyone is good at something, and your character should be too. It might be a good idea to include something your character and must be a bad in order to make them more believable. Many things you can come from the movies, so I always try to quote the similar examples so it is easy to understand. You can do the activity similar, because the plays normally the students are long away from all those activities. If we again go through the characters played by Pran Saab, maybe Prem Chopra, maybe Shakti Kapoor, and many of the villains, Gulshan Grover, their children has been always teased in their schools because of the bad characters played by them. The thing about the Padma Khanna that ruined her career in film industry. She performed so well as a Kekai in the Ramayana serial that was an imaginative, and whenever she tried to play a good role in the movie, the people refused to adopt that change. And finally, she was being moved away from the movie. Some serials she did, but as such, she was not being adopted by the society later on. That is their talent, that is their skills, but adoptability is also by the society at the same time. Backstory, the root, this will root your character in the fictional world. You will need to consider your character's history, family life, occupation, and so forth. That means you should make your character realistic, and in that case, you need to go through the history of it. A long time, a documentary, a movie was been on the Fulan Devi. Whomsoever the lady, Seema something, played the role in that movie, so it was the homework to be required about that character. It is just similar like Rajat ji and Astak, and they are just Aapki Adalat, and they are calling the person is doing his homework, and he knows each and almost everything. The research team is conducting a back office work and collecting all the relevant information about the person, the personality who's been called on that day. So what they are particularly focusing, that make your character believable and realistic. It is necessary that you should involve both positive and negative traits. Just for an example, your character is smart but too shy to speak up in class and show off her or his intelligence. We have seen there are the slow learners. Now, they may be very good in learning, they may be very good in expressing, in writing, but they hesitate to talk upon. And particularly, this very commonly happens when we are having the classes, combined classes in English and Hindi medium, particularly. Hindi medium students, they normally hesitate to speak in the class. So it is necessary that we should try to develop those students in such a manner that their positiveness, that you belongs to the Hindi belt, Madhya Pradesh, or maybe UP, Rajasthan, Bihar, Jharkhand. So it is a Hindi based belt. It is good enough that you are having a strength of it. What is the negative trends? The niche, the way of expressing, the body language they are utilizing, it may be a negative trait. So language should not be barrier. Another activity, the next activity has been required to develop a role player, and that is choose between a narrative and the script style. Narrative style is very, very popular. When we read like a typical book, a background has been always said. Someone is reading, it is happening in the primary school role plays. Some teacher is having a storyline and describing, or if you are having a role play, like just same example, Shivaji Maharaj or Alya Bhai Holkar role play has been there, and there is a background storyline is been keeping upon, moving upon, and this can be the one of the narrative style. This is the one of the most popular style. Second one, likes, that is a screenplay style, where read like a script. A script is been provided, the persons are been trained upon it, and then they used to speak. It is more suitable for fast-paced role plays. Okay, here is an example of what. So I'm not considering the example I've already quoted over here. So, like the long plays, 3 hours plays, 2.5 hour plays have been there, and in such cases, the narrative style is recommendable, but they follow both of the common styles. The screenplay style is also been at the same time applicable. Next step, that is use concrete details and ample description while writing the script. That means, to the another part, that is, your script must be capable enough to contribute the plot or the situation which you want to make it clear. So till now, what has been made clear, The script writing is at the same time is very, very important once you are defining or you are in the activity of role play, which is not been required when you are in the case writing pedagogy or the case writing workshops or analysis. The command over language is also similarly important in such type of conditions. At the same time, it has been recommended that read what other people have wrote. Just wait about your turn and then post a reply. In text-based role-playing, everyone writes out what their character says. So it is just like any tele-serial we are watching or the stage show we are watching. Each and every person is been either asked to write their characters or to act according to their characters. They thinks, they does post it, and usually it is in the form of a forum. If you are doing a one-to-one role play, there may be an instant messenger or even emails which can be forwarded amongst themselves. And when the turns comes upon, post your character part of the story. So what is actually being like that? They are here talking about the text-based role play. They are not on the screen and they are performing, but simply it is just like continuation of a message exchange and the form of role play by forming some of the group. And if you are unable to post in the timely manner, let the role play partner or the group leader know. Not exactly correlating, but might be possible that you have gone through in the lockdown period, and that is the Antakshari. Some tune was been played and some songs has been singed upon, and that was been recorded in one sent on the WhatsApp. Some another person catches that song, and with a new song they used to send it out. This is what we people learned at the time of COVID lockdown. So it was a new learning to us. Online tambola, another concept come upon, many of the things. Do not pester people for replies. This can be seen as annoying. Just wait a week before asking for a reply. Sometimes people forget or get busy. So once you are in the right or text-based learning role play exercise, it has been also been recommended that you please wait sometimes to get the outcomes, because maybe possible that person is busy and may not even reply you at the same time. Don't ditch a role play without a word. This can be seen a very rude in the role play community. If you get tired of the role play and don't want to do it anymore, be upfront about it. Politely tell the person that you are no longer interested in such types of activity. So what has been recommended that don't simply push away from that activity that may create a problem to the team also. So it's better you just inform them, provide sufficient time so they can have a replacement, and then you can move out from it. At the same time, it is equally necessary to maintain the adequate while you are in the doubling process. That is, if you write two paragraphs for your original characteristic, you should write two paragraphs of for other characters you are playing. Just like if you are in the one-to-one role play, you should write two on both the manners so that you can perform well. If you only write two sentences for the other character, you will not be able to fare to your partner. So it has been recommended just like a double role in the movie, and you are performing in two different roles. One is rich, one is poor, and something like that. So you should be write the characters or try to understand the characters in such a manner so that you can actually put yourself in such type of situations and perform well. Now, this is what some of the things being a fraternity academicians try to develop the role play activities amongst the students among themselves, and they should try to learn all of these things. Now, what is the moving next to the next part? That is, what is the effect of role play on the students? Number one, The role play helps to develop the effective communication skills and to develop the leadership quality amongst themselves. The students who are shy enough, they have been asked to perform. This will try to open themselves in front of the students. Even when we are in the case-based learnings, we always create the group, and that is not, the group is not created in terms as a peer group, but it is again always a scattered group. They will claim the same problem you will come in the role play also. हमारी इनसे नहीं पड़ती है, please don't put ourselves in that group. नहीं हमें ठीक नहीं लगता है. We only girls, we are happy with all the girls. Some we say we are happy with all the boys. We are not comfortable within any of the things. It should not be like that. Because I make them understand that it's okay over here. But once you are in the real corporate world, are you going to claim that no, I will not work with this person because I don't like him or her? Absolutely not possible. So that sort of understanding the role play tries to develop. And gradually they will learn to interact. They will learn to behave properly with the groups. It is also helpful in developing their interviewing skills and social interacting. Many of the times we have seen, particularly the student who is coming to a very back area, maybe a village where he has not got any of the opportunity, they always hesitate to talk. They try to sit alone. They will keep on reading something, but they do not like to interact. So this will open that person also, and this is the objective. So social interaction will develop with the help of role-playing exercise. Next thing, once you are deciding, if in the group role play, you ask them, you don't assign, you ask them to have a leader in that group. Suppose it is a group of 5 people. Ask them that any one of you should be a leader. Second thing, ask them to introduce themselves if possible, or a leader must introduce the whole of the team. It's better if the person introduces himself or herself, is much better. Then the third quality need to be developed under role play activity, that in case if some of the person of that group is unable to perform, it should be the responsibility of the rest of the members, any one of the member, to take over where the person left support. So this is how bonding can be developed. The next benefit to the student, that it develops sensitivity to another's feeling by having the opportunity to put oneself in another's place and develop empathy and understanding. So once you are in the role play, just imagining, keeping yourself to some another person can also better understand the problems related to it. May tum ho, tum may ho, and once we both are being replaced, it will help to better understanding what the real problems are engaged in it. It is just like when we are the young faculties, and we always have a difference of opinion with the examination controller team or examination team, who are the examination controller, 4 or 5 people who are in the committee. But once we get that opportunity, we do understand that what are the real problems arises. It's always, we all belong to the same, we do understand. The teacher who is performing his duty in the classroom always feels like the people who are sitting in the control room, they are simply enjoying, they are eating and drinking coffee, tea, etc. Nothing, no task has been assigned. So what is the responsibility? You just keep on rotating. Keep at least 1 or 2 person replaced. Move, ask them to perform the duties, and those who are performing, let them to get in the control room. Once they work, they will really understand the responsibility of the control room and how much patience is been required in it. So it is not meant only for the student. This activity can be even applicable amongst the faculties too. The role of a teacher in the role play, that is, it provides the teacher with an opportunity to note individual students by observing, analyzing their needs in the real life situation. Ultimate objective of role play activity is simply to develop ourselves, to encourage independent thinking and action by stepping aside on giving indirect guidance to emphasize them to themselves. Ultimately, we are talking that they should be some type of guidance provided to develop themselves. And the teacher can correct the errors and the use of role play for specific teaching on the specific subject. So when we talking about the real outcomes of this activity, although I intend to have a role play activity, but due to time constraint, and it is ultimately a group exercise, for that a pre-preparation has been required, and I need to provide you an assignment a day before, so could not able to manage it out. So I really apologize for it. But anyhow, if we just move back, so ultimate objective of this activity, the role play performing, is simply a simulation based activity, and the objective is to develop the students in such a manner so that they can fight in the real life situation. They should be capable enough to overcome such type of problems if those problems arises in the real life. So this is all from my side. Thank you so much for patiently listening. And in case of any queries, the session is open for everyone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Mala this side. I just wanted to know that how role play may help for applied sciences or some engineering subjects.
Yes.
Definitely, ma'am. Again, the same thing. Even just like for your engineering-based products, developing the products, you can assign some people. Maybe I'm just having knowledge about 2 3 big personalities, so I'm quoting those names. Just maybe Isaac Newton, maybe any other personality like them, and ask them to play the role, develop what the things, what to work upon on the things they have developed. They can go with the experimental based learning as compared to the role play exercise. I think we are having a session on it. I'm not sure about it. So experimental based learning is much more innovative, much helpful to them. But yes, they can imagine it, what should have been done or what has been done, so they can more come up with the situation like that. But at the second side, we need to take care about the hazardous materials. It should not be very harmful to them.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Anyone, please?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, if the students are like lazy, then how should we indulge those students in those activities?
They are lazy. What you are saying?
Yes,
Now,
yes. If those students are not interested,
I said I use the word slow learners. It is a technical terminology nowadays we are using. So it's better you need to assign the task, you need to assign the character to them, and definitely they will play upon. Even if they are lazy, they do not want to do anything, any role should be assigned in such a manner that the student is been simply asked to sit on a chair. Maybe elderly person is sitting on a chair and the rest of the story moves somewhere along with it. So at least sitting on a chair is also an activity. And just sitting over there, he will or she will just try to speak something. At least some understanding will be there. Okay, this is the things to be done upon. So once the responsibility has been assigned, they automatically will come upon. And if no responsibility, then it is always like that. Okay, nothing to be done. And let me assure you that role-playing based activity is much more effective as compared to one-way communication, the lectures what basically we are delivering in the class. Am I
thank
able
you
to
very
answer
much,
you,
sir.
ma'am?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
So you assign in the small work initial way, and later on you will increase the responsibility in that activity.
Sure, sir.
They will perform definitely well.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Any other?
Any other
Sir, I
participant?
want to ask a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Go- Sir, is presentation, is role play will be more effective than presentation mode?
Definitely, ma'am. Presentation modes requires the limited resources, but once you are talking about the role play, it requires lots of pre-preparation work. Just what I have discussed in the initial, it requires the script, requires the content, and more things. Secondly, that is the etiquettes are also required. The use of language, words, everything has been required. Secondly, it is the responsibility of the moderator to take care upon it, because some of the times, while if it is the instant role play, it may be argumental based activity. So that is also been required to be controlled. So role play is actually, it is just like a real situation you're just putting on the board. And presentation, again, the limitation of presentation, it will lose the interest of the audience. You have experienced that once the students are presenting, they will always look over to the faculty. 99% they are looking towards the faculty. I always says, don't look over me, look over to the students. Otherwise, students will lose interest in your presentation. Have a eye contact. We know, but the students need to be learn upon. But then too, as compared to role play, the real learning amongst the audience will be much, much less. So they both have different uses.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. This side, Dr. Ajay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the wonderful session. I joined a bit late. I was on the way.
No problem, sir.
Whatever I heard, whatever I encapsulate, it's really thoughtful. That will definitely help us in improving our teaching pedagogy.
Sure, sir.
Sir, but I want to ask question, how can we have recording of these sessions since I missed earlier?
No issues, sir. All of these recordings are available in the form of YouTube videos. The link has been provided in the group, and that has been preserved for a long life. So you can just go through those videos and you can just recalculate all of these things.
Okay.
In
Thank
case
you,
of
sir.
any
Thank you so
problem
much.
exists, you can contact to RFI personally.
Good evening, sir. My name is Anubha.
Yeah.
I am from Mangalmai Institute. I'm an assistant professor there. I really liked whatever the points that you have mentioned, and I have been into business communication and soft skills training as well. I have been teaching these students, and I have always been using practical approaches of and methodology for students to understand how things can be. Because I have been into corporates prior to that. I have an experience of almost 20 years into corporate sector, sir. So now I have been using role play, but the point that you mentioned, that the students coming out from remote areas of India or the countryside, which is the villages, they are very hesitant in the role play, activities which is done in the class. Now, my query is, how can we actually, motivate these people, these students more and more? Because I tried many options that they should understand, they should learn that in corporate world both the genders are equally capable, and they interact and work, they have to be that. So but then there are some issues, so how can we handle that situation, sir?
I would like to address three things amongst that. Number one
Yes.
thing, that is, first of all, we need to make them comfortable whatsoever they are been to. Number one, that is, they are basically belongs to the rural area. So number one, that is the barrier of English, fear of English, sorry. So I don't know about the south. If you belong to that, I think the people are more comfortable, but here we are having a problem of language. So let us ask them whatever language they are comfortable, be in that. Maybe any your regional language they are comfortable. So first of all, try to develop those language. Secondly, ask them to make a brief presentations. Just come in front and try to speak anything. Or thirdly, when you will train them, being a moderator or being a trainer, you will ask them to speak upon, and you can make him or her learn, just rehearse and rehearse, and in this way they can overcome the situation. Maybe for one time, two time, but third time onwards they will be comfortable.
Agree to the point, sir. I have been doing the same, but however, these students are little still hesitant. Even they rehearse at their, at their end, whereas wheresoever they are residing. But when they come to the classroom, they feel like they are not able to speak properly. Some students have actually gained, experience through my classes, and they have, recouped their, ability to speak in front of people, irrespective of the language, whether it's English or Hindi, right? But then there are still some people who are like, they cannot say. Otherwise, when they're sitting on the bench, they can reply me back. But when they're asking to, do a role play, come in the front, make the role play, do the extemper, they're not doing it. So how to overcome this, sir?
Again, the same thing, they're having a fear factor because it has been never went with them. And you can either do thing that ask them, just assign some brief notes, ask those students to just read upon. Maybe possible that they can simply read it out, or maybe they can use the board or maybe PPT. So at least once they started reading, so they will get some type of belongingness and understanding, and they can overcome with the fear factor coming in front to the stage. Second thing, once they are comfortable, I again assume that language is the barrier to them. I just like to quote that to my institute. It's in the remote area, and it's around 25 kilometers from Indore. So the students coming, many of the students coming from rural area, they basically speak in Malvi, that is the regional language of Malwa. They even doesn't know Hindi also.
Okay.
So that is not an issue. Even they don't know Hindi, how we can expect that they can talk in English? So we ask them, be comfortable in Malvi. At least we can understand. We people can't speak, but we can understand. So gradually what has been done, through 4, 5 times we have asked them, they opened up, and gradually they try to develop themselves. So at least they shifted to Hindi, but English, it will take time. So you simply assign a small task to them. Simply you can ask to read the notes, what we are teaching in the class, and this is how they will overcome the fear. And once it has been overcome, definitely you will get an desired outcome.
That's indeed a very good thing that you've just mentioned, sir. I will try to replicate in my classrooms, and thank you for this knowledge.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
But I think, ma'am, it's already an experimental work for the teachers. We should
Yes.
keep experimenting.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
There's something new comes upon.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else, please?
Participants, if you have any question, you can ask, sir. Any other participant?
Okay, in case any queries, you can even post to the group. So I will try to answer over there. So I think, ma'am, we can conclude the session.
Yes, sir. Okay. So as we conclude today's session, I wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each participant for your active participation, enthusiasm, and valuable contributions. A special thank you is in order for our esteemed speaker, Dr. Deepak Agrawal, sir. We appreciate the time and effort he has dedicated to sharing his expertise with us. I would also like to express our sincere thanks to the organizing committee and its sponsors for their support in making this program possible. With gratitude for everyone's involvement, we officially conclude today's session. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank
once again.
you, sir.